Hey, welcome to day two. The human element, your expertise is irreplaceable. There's a myth out there that AI is going to replace expertise. Actually, I think it's completely the opposite. AI is going to make expertise more and more important. Yesterday, we covered what AI actually is and why it works best as a muse, not a replacement. Today, we're going to get practical. We're going to talk about how your expertise is irreplaceable. The core idea is simple. AI doesn't replace your thinking, it multiplies it. You bring shallow thinking in, you get shallow output back. You bring experience, judgment, and expertise, and AI becomes genuinely useful. This is where most people get stuck. They think the value comes from the tool, but it doesn't. The value comes from the person using it. AI helps you move faster, organize ideas, see new angles, but it needs your perspective, your judgment about what actually matters. That's the human element, and that's what we'll focus on today. Let's get into it. With AI, everybody's getting better. Right now, my estimate is when people use AI, the average output in most areas around the 80th percentile. That changes the game. The 80th percentile is no longer a goal, it's the new floor. So content alone won't separate you anymore. What will make the difference is your persistence, your judgment, your expertise. AI can help you get to a good answer. Your job is to keep pushing until you get the right answer. That's where the advantage is now. Have you ever used AI in a work task and looked at the output and thought, yeah, that's okay, not bad, nothing wrong, just a bit generic. It could have been written by anyone. That's the pain. Imagine you and a colleague are using exactly the same tool, the same AI, the same features, yet somehow her output has depth. It has insight. It sounds like it came from someone who knows what they're talking about. Yours feels average. Most people assume the problem is the prompt. They go looking for better templates, better frameworks, better magic words. But that's the wrong solution. The gap isn't the prompt. The gap is the person behind it. And that's what we're going to deal with today. Now, there's four beliefs I'd like to kill off quickly. One is AI is the great equalizer. Yes, it does improve people's performance, but no, it's not an equalizer. Research shows AI often widens the gap. Experts get more powerful, novices fall further and further behind. Two, better prompts mean better output. Prompt shaped delivery, knowledge, context is what's driving quality. It's not a prompt game. Third, and this one is a bit dangerous, you don't need to learn deeply anymore. Actually, you need to learn more deeply so you can evaluate the input that you're getting from AI. More AI use means smarter work. Well, in some ways, yes. But what we do know is that brain first workers consistently beat AI first workers. You can think of it as a simple equation. Your expertise times AI capability is the output that you get. AI doesn't change the equation, it amplifies what's already there. Low expertise in, something that sounds impressive but may not mean very much. High expertise in, something genuinely useful. An MIT EEG study showed this at a neurological level. People who relied heavily on AI showed up to a 55% drop in brain connectivity. Technical experts actually sometimes increased brain activity and gained far more from AI than general staff. The amplifier is only as good as the signal going in. The better you understand the subject, the better AI performs for you. The less you understand it, the harder it is to tell whether the answer is brilliant or just convincing. If you want to learn more about AI as a mirror, this is a great book to check out. Because AI is a mirror, you need to follow what I call the brain first protocol. Think before you open any tool. Here's the sequence. It's 4 steps. 1, think first. Well, if it's brain first, that makes a lot of sense. Write down your own take before AI touches it. 2, find your gaps. What are you uncertain about? What would take you time to verify? 3 is delegate precisely. Bring in AI with your draft in context. Ask it to fill in the specific gaps, not everything, just the gaps. 4th, judge and refine. Evaluate what it gives you against what you know. You need to remember it's you own the output, AI assisted. The sequence here matters. And because the answer from AI sounds confident, you might feel more certain than you should. The tool doesn't make you wrong, it just makes your judgment underdeveloped. You need to remember AI can help you solve the wrong problem faster than you've ever solved anything before. And the dangerous part is you don't know and you can't feel it. What we've seen in research is good results come from thinking first. Help should come after, not before thinking. When help comes too early, there are issues. Now, this is not an argument against AI. It's not a nostalgia for harder times. It's a sequencing problem. Problem first, solution second. That's just the way it should be. Now, when you mess up the sequence, 3 things are happening, and they build on each other. The first is a disappearance of productive failure. For 20 years, researcher Manu Kapoor studied what happens when you struggle with a problem before getting the instruction. Real struggle, problems you can't solve yet. The assumption for most people is just a waste of time. Frustration, wrong answers. He found exactly the opposite. People who struggled first, even those who failed completely, understood more deeply and applied knowledge better to problems they'd never seen before. 30 to 40% better. The wrong attempts weren't wasted. They were a part of the work. Struggling to frame a problem, even badly, activates the thinking that makes learning land deeper. But what if you have only bad ideas you know won't work? That's fine. Bad ideas often help more than good ones, not because they become good ideas, but because getting them out clears the space that good ideas need. The bad ideas open the door, the good ideas can walk through. AI gives you the good ideas immediately. That's exactly the problem. When you skip the bad ideas, you skip opening the door. The second issue is premature agreement. When answers arrive before we've thought, we tend to accept the first frame we're given. Psychologists call this confirmation bias. Once you hold a belief, you become efficient at finding evidence that supports it, and equally efficient at ignoring everything that doesn't. You know this one. You notice a symptom, nothing serious. You check a website. Oh my goodness. 20 minutes later, you have a diagnosis, a prognosis, and a funeral plan. Every search confirms that the algorithm, delighted by an engaged you, keeps feeding you exactly what you now convinced you need. You didn't get bad information. You got selectively organized information, shaped entirely by the first frame you brought to the search. And you were looking for confirmation. The same thing happens in strategy meetings every day. Someone brings a confident AI-generated solution. The team finds it plausible. Every subsequent question gets asked inside that frame. Nobody doom scrolls their way to a good decision. A well-phrased, confident response feels like clarity, a good direction to follow. Sadly, this often stops real thinking too often. We stop looking for alternatives and accept a frame we never chose because it arrived before we had a chance to generate one of our own. Third issue is use it or lose it. Thinking is use it or lose it. It's a skill that you need to keep practicing. When you stop asking, you lose the ability to ask. The judgment that comes from forming your own questions gets lost. AI is really good at getting you to make sure you don't have to use your judgment. Now, let me give you a few numbers. Imagine 2 scenarios. You write a text, and you have AI write a text for you. 30 minutes later, you're asked what you wrote. Typically, you'll remember 80% of what you wrote. If you look at what AI wrote, people typically forget around 83%. If you can't even remember what you wrote, what's the value of the AI text? Let's look at how the best problem solvers actually behave. Researchers studied how experts and novices approach physics problems. The experts, advanced PhD students, spend 50% more time on problem definition before attempting a solution. Novices define the problem by what they could see. Experts define it by underlying principles and expertise. They look past what the problem appeared to be to see what it actually was. And once they had the right question, the solution, in the researcher's own words, came almost automatically. The pause wasn't a weakness. The pause was spending time looking at the questions. That was expertise and leadership. Now you might be thinking, that's fine for PhD physicists. They have years of knowledge to bring to that pause. What about the rest of us? Fair question. What about the rest of us? Here's the answer. Research shows motivated novices often find the most creative solutions. Why? They see with fresh eyes and they work hard. The pause isn't reserved for experts. I have some direct evidence of what happens when that pause disappears. At INSEAD, there was a study run with 305 MBA students. 3 conditions: AI during problem formulation, AI during ideation only, and AI during both. The group that used AI early generated more ideas, but their analysis became less strategically focused. Why? The AI didn't help them think, it shaped what they were thinking about. It introduced assumptions that created anchors. The problem was being constructed by the tool before the people had constructed it themselves. The group that defined the problem first, then brought in AI for ideation, built stronger strategic recommendations. Same tool, better decisions, thinking first, thinking later. I have a line that I would like you to take with you. Amplifiers, that's what AI is. Magnify what you bring, brilliance or noise. You need to remember it's brain first, AI second. Experts catch what AI misses, and your knowledge is the multiplier. At the start of the AI hype, everybody was collecting prompts. Prompt engineering asks, how do I phrase this better? It's a search for the magic questions. AI has gotten so much better, it can even guess what your questions you're going to ask. What is needed now, and really what was needed then, but we didn't see it, is context engineering. Context engineering asks, what does AI need to know about my business, my constraints, my history, my objectives to give me something genuinely useful? That is based on real expertise. AI is not removing expertise, it's actually making it more important. Just like in every class, I'm going to give you some learn more links. One that I like a lot is a talk that I made recently in Rabat, Morocco, called When Help Comes Too Early. You have the slides there. The talk is still not up online. There's AI as an equalizer amplifier, and lastly, the importance of expertise in the age of AI. We have an advanced course for today. It's about how to become an expert at anything with AI. It's a 4-step process to build expertise. You'll get a live notebook LM a GPT and a prompt to rate great research questions, and you'll learn how to build expertise in less time than it takes to watch the video. What we'd like to do right now is see how expertise can change the output that you get from AI. We've got a prompt here, and there's 3 steps to use it. 1 is define a task. Describe what you want to know. Add some reference files. Define your current thinking and uncertainties. Those are the gaps. And then run the prompt and evaluate the results. What you'll probably find out is AI helps you go 1 step further. That's it for today.